Now with the most local news, this is 8 News Now, live local now.
Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? I love asking you that, right? We need to be asked that sometimes. Hope you're doing well. I'm Ozzy Mora here at 10 in the morning, the streaming center.
Do they answer back through the cameras? That's the most concerning thing,
Usually, sometimes on social media, they will. I'm doing great.
Fair enough.
Which, hey, that means some are listening, some are
I'm
thinking.
John Langler, by the way. Hello. Happy belated birthday once again. You enjoyed yourself yesterday a little bit?
Yes, I told you I had some dessert. Went to Chinatown. We love that area. So good. But this weekend is where real party happens.
That's when the real dessert takes place. A lot's coming up this morning here on 8 News Now at 10. We're waiting for a press conference also to start from Tucson, Arizona on the search for Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie. Yeah. That should start any moment now. When it does begin, we will take it live.
Yeah, we'll be hearing from the Pima County Sheriff out there. So with that, let's start with this first top story that we're following.
Indeed, this morning, Metro Police identified the 2 officers involved in the shooting in the South Valley earlier this week. The shooting that left a 3-year-old child dead and the suspect dead as well, the 3-year-old Contre Baker, who was killed in this shooting. The officers identified by Metro Police are 39-year-old Officer Jonathan Lowe and 26-year-old Officer Damon O'Donnell. Officer Lowe's been with the department since 2019, Officer O'Donnell since 2024. Still a lot of unanswered questions about this shooting. Who fired the shots that ultimately killed that 3-year-old child, the circumstances that led up to this, and why police were called there in the first place. We should get some more details from Metro Police in the next day or so, but the news this morning is that those officers have been identified, Ozzy.
And they're supposed to be providing a news briefing hopefully by tomorrow,
Yep.
So that's what we were told as well. All right, $750,000 bail, set for a Las Vegas math teacher. So here is what we know. A judge has set a $750,000 bail for 48-year-old Brian Conway, a math teacher at Clifford J. Lawrence Junior High. For some reference here in the valley where that is, that's near El Capitan and Flamingo if you're around the valley. Following his arrest for an alleged inappropriate relationship with a teenager, a 13-year-old. Documents say that Conway faces multiple counts, including using a minor to produce pornography and luring a child. Conway was hired by the Clark County School District in July of last year, actually, 2025. He previously taught in Nampa, Idaho for nearly 10 years, a long time. While Nampa police have no prior records of sex crimes for him, Metro detectives believe there may be additional victims, and they have asked those victims to please come forward. The district confirming that Conway is no longer with the school district, and parents have been notified, and the school has been cooperating with investigators. Again, information on our website. This is an ongoing story. Our Josh Bigaro has been covering this story extensively. John.
And we've seen, unfortunately, way too many of these situations, these allegations against teachers at Clark County School District allegedly involved in something along these lines. We'll see where this case goes. We switch gears to things that maybe don't shift gears at all. Self-driving cars. On Capitol Hill yesterday, Tesla and Waymo were testifying to a Senate committee trying to urge Congress to accelerate self-driving deployment and allowing self-driving cars. This comes, though, of course, as there are lots of safety probes and questions about the safety record of these self-driving automobiles. If you go around the convention center, you're around the Strip or downtown, you've seen Zooks, other kinds of cars like that are self-driving. The companies that are involved, your Teslas, your Waymos, there's a lot of other companies that are smaller that are also getting involved. They want more. They want more openness. They want to be able to drive more. A lot of states have their own laws. But they want federal regulation. They want some guidelines here, some sort of framework for them to move forward, because this, for a lot of companies, is the future.
I definitely think it's a mixed bag when it comes to federal and state regulations. I feel like that's a conversation around that. So with that, it leads us to our question of the day, and this is where we bring in Daryl Harris. Here's the question. Would you ride in a driverless car? My answer, not yet.
Daryl, what's your answer?
I feel like I would, but I don't know. It is a tough mental block sort of to get past. And for now, I guess I would say no. I'm not that close-minded to the idea. John, would you?
As someone who likes driving, I don't even like being a passenger in a car, let alone
like
being in a
this.
car where no one is driving. So that might be a bit of a hill to climb for me. But I will say the technology, obviously they're still working on a lot of it, is fascinating
It
how they've been
is.
able to work on this self-driving technology, stopping at stoplights and, adjusting speeds and so forth, watching out for pedestrians. It's fascinating technology. It's just a matter of sort of honing it in.
So have you been to Resorts World? Have you guys been? Okay,
Oh, yeah.
so they have the driverless car, and there's always a line of people waiting to try. And I always get scared when I see the vehicle approach because it stops at the stop sign, but I'm always worried to cross the street. I'm like, is it going to see me? Is it going to see me?
I will
That's
remember.
how I feel.
Some of our production team behind the set might remember this. I think it was 8 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago, the first self-driving, it was like a shuttle downtown, and we did a live shot on 8 News
Okay.
Now for the noon show. And we did the live shot, and the thing drove off again, driverless car. The next block, it got into a crash. A small little
Oh my
thing.
goodness! Right, and during the show.
I was going to say too that steps on this point, but I was going to say there are some investigations currently into its traffic compliance and its hit an investigation or a crash here and there, different states, not here in Nevada recently.
Yeah.
But for those examples, there are probably 15 to however many more examples of it being perfectly fine. You know,
a work in
they're
progress.
outweighed, but
Yeah. Have your say right now, 8newsnow.com
this is the
/vote.
time.
Use the QR code as well.
We love to hear from you. All right. So this has been developing news, breaking news. The search for Nancy Guthrie enters day 5. Very, very sad. The search for 84-year-old Nancy, the mother of Today's Show host, Savannah. This is her and her siblings yesterday. A video that they posted on their social media, Savannah specifically. So the search has intensified after the discovery of a ransom note, which we also reported on, and blood, according to police, the sheriff's office, found at Nancy's home in Arizona, Tucson, Arizona. So Nancy was last seen Saturday. By Sunday, she missed church, and then by Tuesday, police declared the home a crime scene, suspecting an abduction. So there's just a specific timeline for you. Savannah Guthrie, like we just showed you, did release a plea video, an emotional video Wednesday night, pleading with the captors for her mother's return, noting that Nancy is fragile and she's in need of medication because she's in constant pain. It's very emotional. I did read that President Donald Trump also called Savannah Guthrie and directed all federal law enforcement to assist local agencies out there in Tucson, Arizona. And we are awaiting for the Pima County Sheriff's Office to hold a media briefing soon, and we'll actually be taking that as well to update you guys.
Yeah, it was hard to watch that video. Obviously,
So
it's
sad.
the idea is to get that message out to the public and potentially to the person or people who kidnapped Nancy Guthrie. But to hear them talking directly to them and saying to the people that maybe have Nancy Guthrie, we're ready to talk. That was really compelling and hard to hear. It's also interesting that police down in Pima County sealed off the house again. Remember, they had opened the house
Yeah, they
back up to
cleared
the
it.
family, and now they've gone. Yesterday they went back and they sort of sealed it off again to do more investigative work down there. They pulled out bags, a bunch of other evidence and things, just to help with their investigation. So that is a work in progress. And as Ozzy mentioned, we're waiting for that press conference to begin in Tucson, Arizona.
Yeah.
We should hear more details, hopefully, on the search for Nancy Guthrie. All right, we have much more news at 10 coming up after this.
Now with the most local news, this is 8 News Now, live local now.
Welcome back to 8 News Now at 10 here on another glorious Thursday morning. We're getting spoiled again with this gorgeous weather, Ozzy.
Oh, yeah, we're so lucky. I'm going to keep saying that. People are going to get tired of me saying that all
But here's the
time.
thing. By the time July comes around, you ain't going to hear that from us because it's going to be 120 degrees. Yeah, we're going to be sour and unhappy. Let's get to a very joyous Nate Tannenbaum with the weather forecast.
So as much as I'm pretty sure you are enjoying all the sunshine, you might be going, oh, wait a minute. Weren't those guys talking about some clouds coming in here? This is a picture from on top of the Strat looking to the south. There they are way, way off in the distance, taking their sweet time getting here. So here's what we're talking about. Yeah, they're slowly moving up our way from off the southern California coast, actually into the Gulf of California off the Baja Peninsula. They'll eventually get here. We're not really confident in the slight chances of rain we've been talking about for the next day or so. However, your weather headlines, yeah, mostly sunny, waiting on the clouds. Temperatures are staying above normal while changes are on the way. We think there's a better chance for stormy looking clouds next week with slight chances for rain. So here's what we're talking about. We did 74 yesterday, way above normal. We'll go for 72 today. We may bust that. I don't think we're really a threat to the record high of 78. So enjoy. That's the bottom line. And even your family and friends, well, there's another batch of cold air coming down from Canada into the Great Lakes region. But your most accurate 8-day forecast, check it out. We'll see some clouds building up, I think, during the day tomorrow. High temperatures are remaining really nice. Going to be a great weekend. It is next week, Monday and Tuesday, that we'll see that next chance for rain. Mostly just clouds and maybe high temperatures dropping. Wednesday and Thursday look to be a little bit cooler as the streamcast rolls on.
It's all relative, right? We're not in, Maine where it's freezing cold or whatever else, We're
just a little bit.
Rolling along.
All right, let's get back to it. Barry Manilow postponing his residency once again. So we first told you about this in December. Well, that was the first time, I believe, he postponed his residency, his shows. So this is due to his cancer recovery. So the music legend, 82 years old, postponed his February residency dates at the Westgate, Las Vegas. The move comes as he recovers from surgery to remove a cancerous spot on his lung. He also posted an update on his social media. Manilow telling his friends he is doing great though, so that's good to hear, and spending time in studio. He needs more time to heal before he does his farewell tour in, this year, 2026. So the February 12th through the 21st shows are off the table. Okay, so keep that in mind. And he plans, according to his reps, to return to the Westgate in March of 26. So all tickets, according to the website I read, should be refundable, fully refundable at the point when you buy them.
He's a Las Vegas legend now.
Yeah.
He's been in town forever, been at the Westgate,
He's
seems
fantastic.
like, since the dawn of time. He sings the songs, of course, so hopefully Barry has a speedy recovery and he's able to get back on stage soon. Vegas needs him.
We do.
Vegas also needs more visitors, and that's the reason why Senator Catherine Cortez Masto this morning announced a new measure to try and boost tourism, not just here in Las Vegas, but in the United States, and get more visitors from in Mexico and from especially Canada. The senator announced a bill this morning with Kansas Republican Senator Jerry Moran. Now, the bill itself, it asks a U.S. trade rep to create a working group to try and find a way to bring people back to the U.S. So it's a bill to make something happen. It's several steps. The key, though, is that lawmakers, on a bipartisan level, it seems, acknowledge that there is an issue with foreign tourists, especially from Canada and Mexico, coming to the U.S. And we've seen that firsthand here in Las Vegas. The numbers show it, that there are fewer people visiting from Canada and from Mexico. Just recently, Circa owner Derek Stevens was trying to entice Canadians to come here by offering food and drinks and whatnot with Canadian dollars and currency exchange. This bill is one way to try and address the fact that, according to the measure, it was 4.5 million visitors less from overseas in 2025 than the year before that. So that's a big number, and a lot of people in Las Vegas would like to see them come back.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a Big initiative
Yeah.
for this bill as well. All right, let's bring it back to the historic commercial center. So you can add on this because you've covered this for many, many years. A $15 million basically facelift for the commercial center. So Clark County leaders are urging locals to return to the historic commercial center as a $15 million renovation project nears completion. So once a hotspot for crime, but the area is being, in other words, rehab. So they're trying to make this vibrant and stuff. What do you want to say?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, there's a lot to it here. We've covered it just earlier this week, of course. They started demolishing one of the buildings at the commercial center. But there's a lot more that Commissioner Segerblum and others would like to do, really completely revamp how commercial center looks and what its goals are.
Right.
But for right now, it's just one building being torn down. The key about last night's meeting was that business owners, they're like, well, what does that mean for us? We're still here. What if it's going to happen to us? And so that's part of the ongoing conversation between the county and those who are invested in this project and those who are there to make sure everyone's on the same page.
But Segerblum was saying that he welcomes, the business owners, and he wants them to stay. He's trying to work with them as well, was the message behind that. A major highlight, though, for some of the visitors, too, is the parking spots that Segerblum also talked about, which is a need there. And then they're going to meet February 15th to discuss more.
One of the things you can say about commercial center is there's a lot of parking, but that's also part of the problem is because there aren't a lot of people there.
Right.
A question I've had about, as someone who's covered the commercial center project for a while, we refer to it as the historic commercial center. Was it the historic commercial center when it opened? Presumably it was just commercial center.
Every time I'd speak to locals or someone, people say the historic commercial center or just the center, depending on how you know or where you grew up.
Back in 1962, it was just the place we go to do all of our stuff.
That's right.
Times have changed.
Things are changing.
Things are changing. Then we'll see where it goes from here. Much more to come up here on 8 News Now at 10. We'll talk about Railroad Museum upgrades down in Boulder City and revisit the question of the day.
Now with the most local news, this is 8 News Now, live local now.
Welcome back. Let's quickly go to Pima County, Arizona. The latest on the search for Savannah Guthrie's mother. A press conference is now underway with the sheriff, and let's get into that right now.
Home and get and find a way to get to the bottom of all of this, just as you do. But I have other partners out there who have stepped up, and you've probably noticed them in the last few days, if not the last few hours, and you're going to see more of that. Well, I made a decision to contact our PCRIT team, and those of you not local, that's our Pima Regional Critical Incident Team. It's made up of law enforcement officers from this entire valley. Pasquayaki Police Department, Tucson Police Department, Marana Police Department, Oro Valley Police Department, Pima College Police Department, Tucson International Police Department, Sarita Police Department. There's so many of them, and they are going to help us tremendously. And that's really done because we have so much in front of us still, and we're hoping that, I know the FBI has committed a very large number of men and women to partner with us, work side by side with us. We go do an interview, they're going to be there with us. We're going to go look at some evidence or process evidence, they're going to be right there with us. We're sharing every piece of information, all the data we can to get this thing solved. And it's important that my partners in law enforcement know and understand their roles, because it is a very large, complex investigation with a lot of moving parts. And we're at that phase now where sometimes we're waiting, right? We're waiting for analysis. We're waiting for lab reports. But even then, when they come back quickly, for example, some DNA, we rushed what we thought was the best target for DNA. We did a rush through and got some of that back. The results were minimal. I think you all know of the blood on the porch. That was one we did. It came back to Nancy. That's what we know. But there's still more items that have been submitted. We just haven't got them back yet. But in the meantime, we're not just sitting on our haunches waiting. We do have a number of leads coming in, and that's why we brought in the FBI for one, but PCRIT as well, to be able to get out there and handle these leads as they come in as quickly and as expeditiously as we can. And every single lead is looked at, every one of them. And so we're gearing up. You probably have some questions about what you've seen in the last couple of days. I'll gladly answer those at that time. But it really is about getting our partners out there. To be fair, when we went to that scene the first night, Saturday night, it was just us. Since then, the FBI and others have asked, can we go and see it as well? And that's what you've been seeing. But it is a very important case to not just me and my team, but this entire community, all of our law enforcement partners. Suspects. I know there's been a lot out there about suspects, and I want to be very clear. At this time, we have not identified a suspect or a person of interest in this case. We are working our best to do that. But to be clear, we have nobody of interest or any suspects that you would consider a prime suspect. We're just not there. We're not there yet. The timeline, I think we've got it on the board, do we not? This is a timeline that we have been able to develop with some of the things that we've had processed. Various pieces of electronics that we've gathered. And you look at some of this, and I know you're going to say, well, why did it take you so long to get this to us, Sheriff? Well, because one thing, it's got to go out and be processed at different lab sites, and sometimes that stuff comes back to us, and like you, we have questions. And we say, wait a minute, what is this about? What about this? Could it be that? And so it's sent back, or it's sent somewhere else. So, and that's happening with all of the things we see, that process, that review, and that questioning of, all right, what is it we're looking at? So I'll go over it with you. You can see it on the board there, but at about 5:32 p.m., these are approximate times. 5:32 p.m., Nancy travels to her local family's home for dinner and playing games with the family, just visiting. At 9:48 p.m., which is very consistent to what we were told by the family, that Nancy was dropped off at home, and we know that because we have a garage door open at approximately, I can't stress that enough, at approximately 9:48 p.m. At 9:50 p.m., that garage door closes. It is that time we assume that Nancy's home and probably going to bed. Sunday morning, early morning at 1:47 a.m., the doorbell camera disconnects. At 2:12 a.m., software detects a person on a camera, but there's no video available. They had no subscription, and therefore it would rewrite itself. It just kind of loops, right, and covers up. That's what our analysis teams have told us. We're not done with that. We'll do all we can, but that's what it says. So it detects a person on camera. Could that be an animal? I imagine that's possible. We don't know that. We just have no video. But we're not giving up on that. 228. Nancy's pacemaker app shows that it was a disconnect from the phone. And at 11:56 a.m., the family checks on Nancy, discovers her missing, and at 12:03 p.m., 911 is called in to the Pima County Sheriff's Department. I believe it's about approximately 10 minutes later, 12 minutes later, our patrol teams arrive. They see the scene, and we start our response with our search and rescue teams and our detectives from homicide and various units. In fact, every unit here, I think somebody questioned, how come there's an ICAC member out here or this member? Everybody in our criminal investigations team is a part of this team and part of this investigative effort. I think with that, let me make sure. Now, I want to clarify some things that I
apologize to interrupt that. So that is Sheriff Chris Nanos with the Pima County Sheriff Office talking about Nancy Guthrie, Savannah's mother. So this is what we know so far. The Sheriff's Office says that they may believe she is out there. We did also mention how they found blood in her home, and that DNA tested positive for Nancy. It came back as Nancy. The FBI is fully involved. They also made it clear that they have not identified a suspect at this time.
Yeah, the search continues for Nancy Guthrie. If you want to watch the rest of this press conference, you can go to 8newsnow.com. Much more coming up on 8 News Now at noon as well. But for now, we'll leave it there, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Take care.